Hi and welcome back to the show. My name is Mark Leruste, and in each episode I dive into the hearts and minds of some of the most inspiring people that I know in order to share with you the ins and outs of what it's really like to start something meaningful. Today's guest is no exception. Michael Pusey, also known as CK Flash, received last week a Member of British Empire Award from Prince Charles himself at Buckingham Palace. Now, the reason why he received this MBE was for all the work he's done as a youth worker when he founded Peckham BMX Club in 2003. Now, over the last 13 years, CK has been able to prove to the world that Peckham is not just synonymous with crime, but actually synonymous with champions. And that is exactly what he's done. He's managed to keep youth and young people out of gangs and onto a track in order to cycle their BMX, which are dirt bikes, for those of you who are not quite sure what BMXs are, and turn them into champions. And this is an amazing story that you can also find on Netflix, the documentary One Way Up. And today we're going to be diving into the champion mindset. What exactly did CK have to do in order to get to where he is today? And what was one of his proudest achievements to date? I give you CK Flash. CK, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Amazing to have you.
Yes.
Before I dive into the exciting news that you were awarded an MBE last week, I think I want to ask a question that every single viewer has on their mind, which is, how the hell do you look so young and what's your secret?
I think drink loads of water, do not smoke, don't drink alcohol, just occasionally at dinner, and keep smiling and have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
That's the way.
So last week, something special happened for you.
Yes.
And you described it as the best day of your life.
Best day of my life.
Yeah, and you were awarded
the MBE.
An MBE for the work that you've done as a youth worker when you founded in 2003 Peckham BMX Club in Peckham. How was it like for you to receive that honour?
Well, obviously, if you don't know what an MBE is, it is the Member of the British Empire. And I was invited to Buckingham Palace, which was another great, achievement just to get into the palace. And then Prince Charles, the Queen's son, gave me my medal to say, you're part of the British Empire. My mum was there, my brother was there, my niece was there. And it was just smiles all the way through the whole day, just from 6:30 in the morning, from picking everybody up. And, we washed the car just before we pulled into the palace, 5 minutes before I knew the car wash was near.
Sure.
It was all planned.
Yeah.
And then, going to the palace and being inside, where not everybody goes, and seeing the soldiers and the beef eaters outside.
So tell us a secret. What's inside that surprised you most?
I must say, the biggest surprise that it was bloody cold. There was no heating going on in there. I don't know what was going on.
Times are hard.
Times are hard for the Queen, the richest woman in the world. Times are hard. But she was, the building was great. There was a lot of pictures, a lot of paintings, a lot of gold and white and mirrors and carpet. If you imagine what the inside is like, that was all what it was meant to be. And then obviously the protocol of I had my top hat, I had to take it off, I had to be right. And then
did someone tell you, did someone okay, by the way, this is how it's going to roll, this is what you can do, this is what you can't do,
correct.
Don't high five Prince Charles.
Yeah, so you walk in and you take 5 steps forward, turn to your left, you courtesy,
really?
And then you walk 3 steps. He then talks to you about why you're getting it, he shakes your hand. And then when at the finish of the talk, you shake his hand, you don't turn your back to him, 3 steps back, turn right, and head out the door. So, it was good. I kind of done a little thing. But for Prince Charles, when he walked in and walked out, he was like, he's got his soldiers who are all doing like the stiff walk. Yeah. But he actually walks like he's bopping through the high street. Yeah, man, I'm Prince Charles. He's a bit cool that way. But yeah, he was lovely, and what can I say? Was
there a part of you that was like secretly, I wish it was the Queen that was coming here today?
I didn't really mind. Yeah. I wasn't really bothered. A few people was always asking, was it the Queen? And I was like, what? At the end of the day, I've been recognised. Yeah. The work has been done, and people are recognising me for my work. So I'm really appreciated that I've been here, and it's recognised around the world. People that I haven't seen for 25 years. Have found me just to congratulate me from when they knew me. I was a little boy riding my own BMX.
Yeah, so let's talk about your work. And by the way, if you haven't seen the pictures, they're available online. What you're going to do is just type CK Flash MBE, and you'll see the pictures of probably the happiest person I've ever seen on pictures, and that's your mum.
Yeah.
She looks so happy.
Mum was happy because she got knocked over by a car this year in Jamaica, and obviously she's been through that ordeal, and now she's come back and her son's getting an MBE. So she's over the moon. Family's happy.
Yeah. So let's talk about your work. There's a documentary that came out on Netflix.
Correct. One Way Up,
featuring yours and one and only CK Flash.
Yeah.
What was the experience like for you to sort of be recognized for the work that you've been putting in day out for the last 13 years?
Well, I can be honest with you. I'm a kind of person that I don't say no to nothing. If there's a possibility or there's a little hinge or a little setback, I don't stop at anything. I just keep going, and I don't let anybody see emotionals. I just say, okay, this is how we're going to approach it now. And if that doesn't work, then I go around the other way and I get to it in the end.
Yeah.
There's not really much that really, I've got a good karma about myself, and I can, people will throw problems and expect a reaction, but you don't get a reaction very quick. And I think the best way to do it is to take things back, evaluate what it is, and work a way around it.
Yeah.
And after 13 years of doing the work, I think the way that I'm programmed, I didn't expect the award, and that's why when I get the awards, it's like, oh well, thank you, But I think more like I was happy at the end. I think more when I'm at the end and I sit back and I look at it, and I thought, it's not just for me. It's for the people that have been around me, the kids that have been around me. It's for the whole team, because it's all a whole contribution of everybody listening to what I say. Because if they didn't listen, then I wouldn't get the award, because they wouldn't be making the teams.
Sure.
But obviously them listening to me and following my lead is showing that I'm a great leader. I have great vision and great focus, and it's producing it now, and for that I'm grateful.
Yeah, definitely, and that's something that's really interesting to talk about, the champion's mindset, because there's one thing that I think is extraordinary is when you look at the documentary, you'll see this, but your friend talks about Peckham having a BMX club is like Jamaica having a bobsleigh team, which I thought was just like, okay, but look at today, you've got 2 kids who are going to the Olympics this summer, hopefully, you've got national and international champions. And some people probably doubted you and didn't believe you when you started this 13 years ago. Yeah,
I think really the point is that Peckham in London and Brixton, are those areas where people think, the kids are wearing hoodies, or they're in gangs, or they're carrying guns, or they're selling drugs.
Yeah.
And obviously I've come from an area where that was going on. But I managed to keep myself out of it with me and my bike when I was growing up.
Yeah.
I knew the gangs, I knew the guys that were selling the drugs. We had talks, but I never got involved.
Sure.
And I stepped sideways, kept to my path, still kept them as friends.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that can only lead for so long.
Yeah.
And I kept on the good path, and this is where I am now.
Sure.
So that's what I taught the kids that came around me. There's some that are 25%, I could say, from the club are in schools that for bad behaviour. And after 6 years, some of them that have been in these bad behaviour schools are now in normal school.
Wow.
Some of them got into the school with the way that we train and our attitude at the track. They're in normal schools again.
Yeah.
So really for me, anybody can change if they really want to. If they see a sweet on the floor and they want it, they're going to get it. Don't matter how they want to get it. If they see £1,000 on the floor, they're going to get it. So the way I see it is, if you really want something and you're organized and you're focused on what you want, and you don't have any distractions other than what you want, anybody can get what they want to achieve.
What do you think gets in the way?
I think people have doubts in themselves, and they need to just, put that aside, because let's face it, in England, Peckham and Brixton, Kennington, Vauxhall, all these places in London, houses are selling for anything between 4 and $500,000. There's money here. There's people that want to go out and eat. There's people that want to go and drink. You can buy stuff from China online and sell it. You can go into a shop. There's jobs. Yeah, people might say they're struggling, but it's down to the mindset on what they want to do.
Yeah.
It's not everybody that wants to be, just working in a chicken shop or selling trainers, or, there's jobs out there. And that's why I think even with a lot of the foreigners that come into the country, they're prepared. Their mindset is like, I'm not going back to my country.
Yeah.
I want to work, so I'm doing anything. They are hungry.
Yeah.
That is it. Hungry is the fire in the belly, as
Yeah.
people would say.
Yeah.
You know, you can have a champion, two champions that train exactly the same, do exactly the same thing, eat exactly the same food, but the one that is going to win, the one who has got that vision and that fire in the belly to say, I am going to win this.
Yeah.
I don't care how I'm going to win it, but I'm going to do everything in myself to get across that line first.
Can you coach that?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
You can. You can coach it. You can do it. All you've got to do is to show the youngsters a portrayal of what you want, give them a vision, show them riders with fire in their bellies, video them and say, right, is this your fire or is this the fire that you're there on? Because if you're not on that same wavelength, you're not going to get there.
Yeah.
You know, simple as that.
When you started this journey 13 years ago, and if you go and check out the documentary, you'll see what I'm talking about. The track that you had then is very different to the track that you're training on today.
Very.
Yeah.
Sorry, you almost made me bite my cup. The track that we had was only, let's put it in simple terms. The track we had was maybe about 120, 130 meters long. It was so short that we had to jump back into the track again. When you went round two straights, you had to jump back into the second straight to make a full lap. So you was literally going back on yourself to make a full lap. The track that the kids race on can be anything between 350 to nearly 400 meters. Yeah. So for us to come from that kind of track with not very good surface on it, again, no tarmac corners, because most of these tracks have tarmac, so it grips really well. Yeah. Never had no tarmac corners. Sure. And then to train on it, and then to win in 2008, the national championships, the British championships. One of the boys won the European championships, and then one of the boys in 2012 became world champion. Yeah. And then we got the new track, which we are on now, in 2013. Yeah. So we've achieved all those titles between the club and the kids that are in the club with the track that we've got, with a little bit of help from other tracks driving around to try and, get them onto bigger tracks. But really the main bulk of this training and the foundation was done on that track. Now, that's all down to the visionary, which is myself. Now, some people might come there and they would think, well, is this your play track? Where is the real track? Yeah. And I said, well, this is what we train on. They said, no, this can't be it. It's a play track. You can't be winning all these national titles and you're on this track. And I just said,
but that's what I love about it. When you actually look at this documentary, you see this clear thing of like, Peckham's arrived. People like shit their hair that these competitions just got a whole new level. So so with that track, the way I see it is if you run on a flat road, it's very easy. Don't matter how easy you are. But if you put resistance against it and you can still run as fast, when you get back to the flat road, you're going to go faster. So I saw it as, don't matter if it doesn't have surface, we're still going to train on it. It might give us punches, we're still going to train. If you can hold the bike in the corner with no tarmac berms, going flat out, what's going to happen when you get tarmac berms that's gripping your bike? Yeah. You're going to go faster. If you can get past riders on a tight track, which is really tight, when you get to a track that's huge, you're going to go past even easier. Your brain can think more clearer. Yeah. So it's like you've been in a tight situation like this, and then all of a sudden you can get out of that situation. But when you get to an open space, you can run like when you're in the park, like when you let your lead off the dog, and he just goes like that. It's amazing. I've got a few more questions for you. One of them is, what's one thing that most people don't know about you?
Well, I don't want people to know.
No. Maybe not don't know, but most people
No. What they don't know about me, obviously I've come from a music background. I've always worked really hard at what I want. I'm driven, very, very driven, and very focused. I try to do things right to my ability. I'm not saying I'm a professor or I've got degrees or I've got that, but I just do the best that I can. And I try to just stay happy and focused and, enjoy life to the full, because there's a lot of people in other countries, like where my mum's from, Jamaica, and other countries around the world that are failed world that, people haven't even got food to eat, or people haven't even got running water, or the electric is running out, or the water's turned off. You try that in just modern life in London. Don't have no water in your house for the whole day. or try not to eat. I'm not a Muslim, but I've actually fasted for 2 weeks just to see what it's about.
Yeah.
And, people need to try these things to appreciate what life they have. They don't have NHS in these countries. So I'm always appreciating and always reflecting on life. Once you can reflect on life and know what you're about and know that you can have a roof over your head with heating in, you can always move forward.
Yeah, and what I love about what you're saying is that there's almost a sense of it's about being resourceful as opposed to not having the right resources.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, just use other resources to get you through life. And at the end of the day, there's a lot of people that, say they can't do things, but if they ask for help and they approach people in the right manner, you will get either a following or you will get the help. And that's what we have at Peckham BMX.
Yeah.
It's a great family there. There's a lot of parents. There's a lot of kids. When you come, you feel very welcome. And there's 5 different grades at the club. So you could bring your little 3-year-old child and we could teach them with the bikes with no pedals, which is balance bikes.
Yeah.
Yep. Then they go on to the other level, which is where you can't ride a bike, but we're going to teach you how to ride a bike. And then when they start riding on the flat, then we bring you to the next level where you get the little ramps that we put out on the flat ground.
It's like a process of getting through the whole.
Then once you get from the ramps, then you get to another coach that is between you and the track. So you get a little bit on the track, but you get a little bit. Then you go to another coach who then gets you on the track and then gets you ready to come to CK.
Right.
But before you come to CK, they warn you, now you're going up there, just be prepared. It's no messing about. He's straight on the button and you're going to work hard.
Yeah.
And then you produce the champions.
If you could give a short advice to someone who's maybe not in the right circumstances or the right environment around him to foster this kind of champion mindset, to kind of foster what he's needed really to sort of fulfill his whole potential, but he believes that he's got this fire in his belly. Whatever sport, whatever discipline, whatever skill he's got, what would you want to tell him?
I would say to them, him or her, you've got YouTube, you've got Facebook, you've got all these potential things to see and watch stuff that inspires you. You've got films like Coach Carter. You've got that's the famous guy with Samuel Jackson. You need to be watching a film like that. You need to watch our film, One Way Up. The story of Peckham BMX. For some kids that was just on the local estates and now are the fastest riders in the world. You need to watch films like Rocky. Just watch films and get knowledge and get more fire into your belly and execute and be the best you can. And always believe in yourself and don't let anybody tell you no. People tell me no. People told me that I would not get a BMX track in Southwark. They will never give it to you. I got the BMX track. People told me I wouldn't get the champions. They denied the kids. They said, these guys are from Peckham. They'll do okay. They're champions.
We'll give them like a few years, if that.
Yeah, a few years. At the end of the day, I'm a visionary and I've got the magic behind the club. And everybody wants to know my magic, but that's my secret. And I'm going to put it out there and help people, if it's not here, around the world.
What does being unconventional mean to you?
Unconventional? It means to me, going against the grain. Going against all odds. Doing whatever it has to be done without harming people to be the best you can be. So for me, like I said, there's always a possibility. So I'm not going to go and do it the way that everybody does it if it doesn't work that way. I'm going to go and round the other way and make it happen. But whatever happens, I'm going to get the best results and the best people that I work with.
Thank you. Before I ask you my very last question, I want to take a moment to acknowledge you because it's been amazing. I mean, Michael Sower, thank you so much for the intro. That's Michael that introduced us on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I remember that we scheduled, you came over here, we had some tea and breakfast over in Peckham, we had a chat, we really got along together. And I just, since I've known you and I've kind of looked up online and followed your work, it's real pure passion and vision that's been driving you and helping all these kids to really believe in themselves and actually believe that they can build a future that they want if they're willing to put the hard work and develop their mindset. So you've been an amazing agent of change for the community of Peckham and Brixton and to the youth around the world to believe in themselves.
Well, what I'd like to add is that the main thing is always stay grounded, stay humble, and if you do manage to, get things come into your life, cherish those things. So for i.e. money, fame, you know, you need to make sure that your head doesn't blow bigger than your body.
Yeah.
You know, keep everything the same as when you first started. And if you can do that, stay the same person that the people knew before you got famous, then everything should go smooth.
Yeah.
Keep it real, I've always.
Amazing. CK, thank you so much for coming on the
Thank you.
show. It's been an absolute honour.
Lovely.
Before I let you go, I know that this might not be in line with the whole lifestyle diet of green tea, but we've got some amazing brownies that have been cooked by Natalie. Thank you so much.
Lovely. Thank you, Natalie.
Would you mind having a brownie?
This is not the diet that I'm on, but I will take one because it's only 12 o'clock and I've got 8 hours to burn it. So
yeah.
Thank you very much.
This is Natalie's brownies, who's been providing them for our show, and they're actually amazing. I've been having.
They are.
I know, right?
You need to get these in Greg's. Greg's is a cake shop, by the way.
That was CK. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank
we'll
you.
be linking all the information below on the show notes. And as always, pure pleasure to see you and connect with you. And I'm sure I'll be seeing you very soon. Good luck with the rest of the training for the Olympics.
Yeah.
And get all those kids to believe themselves.
Brilliant. And also, thank you to Southwark Council, who's given me the track, London Marathon, Football Foundation, Safer Greener, and of course British Cycling has also helped me to get the kids up. And all the parents and the kids that are at Peckham BMX, www.peckhambmx.co.uk. If you want to bring your kids down, make sure you come and enjoy the fun.
There you go. Thank you.
Thank you.
There you have it, folks. I hope you enjoyed our conversation as much as I did, and it was fascinating to hear what makes a champion mindset and how CK basically boiled down to the simple truth that it's not about what resources we have, but about how resourceful we are. And that truly is an inspiring message that we can all walk away with. I also love just how determined he was to believe in his vision and his dream to turn Peckham into the bedrock of British BMX champions, and how much he's achieved that. And I'm so happy for him that he got some recognition through it by getting his MBE at Buckingham Palace last week. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend that could do with a little bit of a CK inspiration. And make sure to subscribe to this channel. We're going to be releasing some super exciting interviews in the coming weeks, and I want to make sure that you don't miss them. My goal is for you to take that idea of yours and take some action on it so you can start something meaningful. Because your work matters, and it's only a matter of time before you realize that it's not that hard to take your first steps. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next show. What's this?
Pusey.
Pusey. Today's guest is no exception. Michael Pusey, aka CK Flash, was rewarded.
Just shake it up.
Okay. Today's guest is no exception. Michael Pusey, also known as CK Flash, was rewarded. Was rewarded